Rao Jodha, the chief of the Rathore clan, is credited with the origin of Jodhpur in India. He founded Jodhpur in 1459 as the capital of Marwar. The previous capital of Marwar was Mandore. He was one of Ranmal's 24 sons and became the 15th Rathore ruler. 1 year after his accession to the throne, Jodha decided to move his capital to the safer location of Jodhpur, as the 1,000 years old Mandore fort was no longer considered to provide sufficient security. With the trusted aid of Rao Nara, son of Rao Samra, the Mewar forces were subdued at Mandore. With that, Rao Jodha gave Rao Nara the title of Diwan. With the help of Rao Nara, the foundation of the fort was decided on the 12th of May 1459 by Jodha on a rocky hill 9 kilometers to the south of Mandore. This hill was known as Bakarchiria, the mountain of birds. According to legend, to build the fort he had to displace the hill's sole human occupant, a hermit called Chiriyanathji, the lord of birds. Chiriyanathji was a man with the local population as his followers and hence influential in the region. When requested to move, he refused categorically. This happened many times. Rao Jodha then took extreme measures and sought help from another more powerful saint, Karni Mata of Deshnok, who was a Hindu warrior sage born in Sharan caste. At the request of the king, she came and asked Chiriyanathji to quit immediately. Seeing a superior power, he left at once but cursed Rao Jodha with words, "Jodha, may your citadel ever suffer a scarcity of water." Rao Jodha managed to appease the hermit by building a house and a temple in the fort. Karni Mata laid down the foundation stone of the Mehrangarh fort. Today only the forts of Bikaner and Jodhpur remain in the hands of Rathores. Both had their foundation stones laid by Sri Karni Mata. All other Rajput forts of Rajasthan were abandoned for some or the other reasons by the respective clans. Only the Rathores of Jodhpur and Bikaner have their forts with them till date. This fact is considered a miracle by the local population and is attributed to Sri Karni Mata. Rao Jodha also granted villages of Mathania and Chopazni to the 2 Sharan warlords who were sent by him to request Mamahai to come to Jodhpur. To ensure that the new site proved propitious, he buried a man of the Meghwal caste called Raja Ram Meghwal, who offered his services voluntarily, alive in the foundations, as this was considered auspicious those days. Raja Ram Meghwal was promised that in return his family would be looked after by the Rathores. His family was granted land, and to this day his descendants still live in Raj Bagh, near Sagar. Mehrangarh Sanskrit etymology sun fort as follows: Mahir, sun or sun deity, and Gar, fort. According to Rajasthani language pronunciation conventions, Mihirgarh, then Mehrangarh, the sun deity, has been the chief deity of the Rathore dynasty. Though the fortress was originally started in 1459 by Rao Jodha, founder of Jodhpur, most of the fort which stands today dates from the period of Maharaja Jaswant Singh of 1638 to 1678. The fort is located at the center of the city, spreading over 5 kilometers on top of a high hill. Its walls, which are up to 36 meters high and 21 meters wide, protect some of the most beautiful and historic palaces in Rajasthan. Khandwalia community. One of the old traditional community had the knowledge of breaking the big stones, made this fort with others. Entry to the fort is gained through a series of 7 gates. The most famous of the gates are Jai-Pol, 1806 victory in a war with Jaipur and Bikaner. Fateh-Pol, victory over the Mughals in 1707. Gopal-Pol, it is the second pole after Fateh-Pol. Dead Kangra-Pol, which still bears the scars of bombardment by cannonballs. Amruti-Pol, it is in between Dead Kangra-Pol and Loha-Pol. Loha-Pol, which is the final gate into the main part of the fort complex. Immediately to the left are the handprints, Sati, fire suicide, with some differences you heard in Chittorgarh, Hampi, Ranthambore, Jaisalmer etc. marks, of the queens and some princesses, who had committed sati over the years after death of their husband. Suraj-Pol, innermost gate which provides access to palace complex and Daulat Khana Chowk. Pol meaning gate. Within the fort are several brilliantly crafted and decorated palaces. These include Moti Mahal or Pearl Palace, Phul Mahal or Flower Palace, Shisha Mahal or Mirror Palace, Silakhana and Daulat Khana. The museum houses a collection of palanquins, howdahs, royal cradles, miniatures, musical instruments, costumes, and furniture. The ramparts of the fort house preserved old cannon including the famous Kilkilla cannons, and provided a breathtaking view of the city. Wikipedia still have no page on the Kilkilla cannons, though several of them are exhibited in Mehrangarh. They are short, heavy, movable, metal cannons as you see here. Daulat Khana, Treasures of Mehrangarh Museum. This gallery displays one of the most important and best preserved collections of fine and applied arts of the Mughal period of Indian history, during which the Rathore rulers of Jodhpur maintained close links with the Mughal emperors. It also has the remains of Emperor Akbar. National Geological Monument. The Jodhpur Group, Milani Igneous Sweet Contact on which the Mehrangarh Fort has been built has been declared a National Geological Monument by the Geological Survey of India to encourage geotourism in the country. This unique geological feature is part of the Milani Igneous Sweet seen in the Thar Desert region, spread over an area of 43,500 square kilometer. This unique geological feature represents the last phase of igneous activity of Precambrian age in the Indian subcontinent. Rao Jodha Desert Rock Park. 72 hectares. The park contains ecologically restored desert and arid land vegetation. Created in 2006 and opened to the public in February 2011. The area in and around the park contains distinctive volcanic rock formations such as rhyolite, with welded tuff, and breccia, sandstone formations. A human stampede occurred on the 30th of September 2008, in which 249 people were killed and more than 400 injured. Near the museum shop you can have chilled Rajasthan lassi, a spiced curd drink. Mehrangarh. The fort of Jodhpur crowns a rocky hill that rises 400 feet above the surrounding plain, and appears both to command and to meld with the landscape. One of the largest forts in Rajasthan, it contains some of the finest palaces and preserves in its museum many priceless relics of Indian courtly life. For over 5 centuries Mehrangarh has been the headquarters of the senior branch of Rajput clan known as the Rathores. According to their bards, the ruling dynasty of this clan had at an earlier period controlled Kannauj, in what is known as Uttar Pradesh. Like other prominent medieval Rajput rulers, including the famous Prithviraj Chauhan, they were defeated by the invaders from Afghanistan at the end of the 12th century. This catastrophe led to the disruption and migration of the early Rajput clans that they led. The Rathors came to Pali, in Marwar, in what is now central Rajasthan. It is claimed that they were to settle there to protect Brahmin villages against cattle-rustling local tribes. The story may seem somewhat fanciful, but the protection of the priestly caste in one of the traditional roles assigned to the Rajputs. Their task in Pali was the basis of their expanding power in the region. Rao Chunda ruling period 1384 to 1428, the 12th Rathor to rule in Marwar, established his capital at Mandore, which he had acquired as a part of a dowry. 2 generations later, Rao Jodha ruling period 1438 to 1489 began to build a fort at a new site 6 miles to the south, on an isolated rock with a higher elevation and better natural defenses. Jodhpur, the town that sprang up at its base, was named after him. The fort was named Mehrangarh, meaning, Fort of the Sun, a reference to the clan's mythical descent from the sun god Surya. Over 500 yards long, its wall rises in places to a height of 120 feet and is 70 feet thick. For Rao Jodha's successors, these defenses were essential, though not always adequate. The centuries following the fort's foundation were marked by rivalries between the Rajput clans and by other external threats. A dominant influence over the region was asserted first by the Delhi Sultanate and later by the Mughals. As they built their empire in India, the Mughals sought to subdue Rajput states like Marwar and its neighbors in Rajasthan, but they did not wish to eradicate them. To most established Indian rulers they preferred to offer terms of subsidiary alliance. Serve the empire, they said, and you can retain control over your ancestral lands. 4 successive generations of rulers in Marwar, between 1581 and 1678, accepted this challenge and became loyal allies and in effect feudatory chiefs of the empire. But for decades both before and after this phase, the understanding with the Mughals broke down, the city and fort of Jodhpur were overrun, and the Rathors were reduced to guerrilla-style resistance in their own kingdom. It did not make matters easier that their relations with the bordering Rajput states such as Jaipur and Bikaner also tended to be volatile. In those unstable times, a fort like Mehrangarh was an object of great power and prestige. In today's terms it would be rather like owning an aircraft carrier. Its uses, perhaps, were somewhat more varied. It was not just a military base, but also a palace for the rulers and their wives, a center of patronage for the arts, music, literature, and with its many temples and shrines it was also a place of worship. These diverse uses are reflected in many buildings within. The current head of the Rathor clan and custodian of the fort, Maharaja Gaj Singh II, has preserved the buildings and developed the museum as a record of the lives of his predecessors. His ancestors ruled the state of Marwar and over many generations built this architectural treasure, and it falls to him to ensure that their legacy is maintained and understood. Unlike many other forts in our country, Mehrangarh is not owned, operated or controlled by the Government of India or managed by the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI. Even if this fort is haunted, it's worth watching.